From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, other systems continue to announce new Switch games, and what's going to be the future of Amiibo for Switch 2?
Lizalfo's Tales. WTF?
Where the fuck are you, Lizalfos?
I know.
NintenDomain Podcast, episode 460. Your place to hear Nintendo fans continue to talk about Switch 2 rumors and news and other games.
Games from like 3 or 4 years ago, in my case. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Switch 1 games. I'm kind of having my own Switch 1 renaissance and all that, I guess, even though I never really went away from it. But whatever. But who are we? We are your hosts. I'm Trey White Whale Surfer Johnson.
I'm John Picochat Knitter.
Yeah, that's
we are not Jeremy Mikowski this week. Jeremy is off in New York.
Yeah, Jeremy decided that he's going to leave the podcast to become a plumber in New York. He was going for his dream of becoming Mario from the Super Mario Brothers. So
yeah,
who knows if we'll see him back or not?
Pipe.
Yeah, yeah, he wants to find the warp pipe on the working on the drain. No, if you listen to if you happen to be if you have to be a patron and you heard our Patreon episode that we recorded a couple days ago. Jeremy is in. He did actually allude to it a few times on the show that he was going to go to New York to see The Lion King play on Broadway. So that's where he's at right now. So it's just John and I here, but I think we can talk about enough stuff to fill the episode and all that.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
But yeah, let's start off the show as we normally do and talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing.
Yeah, what have we been doing, huh?
I thought I didn't really mention it before, but I thought I could talk about Captain America because I did go see that movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it. I mean, there's different mixed reviews about it out there. Jess and I went to see it at the Alamo Drafthouse, my favorite theater to go to. We had special themed cocktails. They were still doing their Valentine's Day stuff. So I had like their Valentine's Day cocktail that was good, and I had a Bloody Mary also, and I had the themed Captain America meal, which was basically like a hot dog. It was like a hot dog with like pulled pork on it, and like fries, like that sort of thing. It was kind of whatever, but I like hot dogs, so That's what I went for.
They didn't name the Bloody Mary after the Red Hulk.
Yeah, right. No, they've always had Bloody Marys. That's just what they have. So I just wanted a Bloody Mary because I like Bloody Marys, and we went early because we went on President's Day. Just because Jess had work off on Monday, and I was like, hey, yeah, let's go to Captain America. Because I wasn't excited to see it. Like I kept telling Jess, like, if you told like teenage me that we were gonna go see a movie starring Sam Wilson, the Falcon. From Marvel Comics, going up against like the Red Hulk, and spoilers, the leader is like the main villain. That would have blown my mind when I was a teenager. I was like, oh my god, the leader? Really? He's in a movie? I mean, it really would have like surprised me to see the Falcon like being like front and center, because he was always like a side character. But I always liked the Falcon a lot. I thought he was really cool. Like I read his comics, in the old Captain America stuff, but I would never expect that he would get a movie, let alone a Disney Plus TV show or whatever. Like if you told me there were going to be like billboards with Venom's face on it, and he had 3 movies, I wouldn't have believed you either. But I would believe that quicker than Sam Wilson having his own his movie as him as a star or whatever. So yeah, but anyway, we went to see it. I didn't hate it. It's definitely not my least favorite Marvel movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, I liked And unfortunately, I saw spoilers of the leader being in there, which kind of like bummed me out. I just saw like the title of an article saying like, this guy's back as the leader, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I didn't know that. I wish I would have just found that out on my own. For anybody who doesn't know, the leader is like a arch nemesis of the Hulk, which that's another thing really weird about this movie. It's basically a sequel to the Edward Norton Hulk movie from 2008.
That's pretty cool.
But with Captain America in it and no Hulk, which is weird because these are all Incredible Hulk villains in a Captain America movie. And it feels kind of weird. And also it's like, does anybody remember the Edward Norton Hulk movie? Because it's paying off stuff from that movie. It was like
So long ago, 2008, yeah.
It was a long ass time ago. Because I think the Incredible Hulk movie and the Iron Man movie, the first one came out like in the same year. Like it was like at the very, very beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's been
I think
like,
that was the second one in the MCU. I believe. I think Captain America was the third one.
No, actually, there were 2 Iron Man movies before there was ever a Captain America movie.
Oh, okay.
They had Iron Man 1 and 2. It was like, it was wild because it was like Iron Man. It was like Iron Man, and then Samuel Jackson's character. Why can I not remember his name?
Oh, Fury.
Nick Fury. I was like Nick Rage because that was his name in the Tick comic. They had the other version of it, Nick Rage. But yeah, no, Nick Fury. I couldn't come to it. But Nick Fury shows up at the end of Iron Man 1, and then Iron Man shows up at the end of the Hulk. So they kind of went back and forth with the after credits stuff and all that. So like Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2 were all like pretty close to each other on the release times before we even had the Captain America movie yet, So because I think Iron Man 2 might have alluded to Captain America, or maybe it alluded to Thor, because like all these were all kind of close to each other at the very beginning. But if you remember in the Edward Norton Hulk movie, he's talking to what's his name, Samuel Stearns or something like that, the guy who becomes the leader, and his name is like Mr. Blue or something like that. He's talking to him on the internet to try to help him like figure out with his Hulk shit that he's dealing with. And at the end of the movie, there's gamma radiation like leaking into his brain, and his brain's getting bigger. And I'm like, the leader, which for anybody who doesn't know Hulk comics, the leader is like the Hulk, except his brain is like huge. Instead of the Hulk being like having giant muscles, the leader has a gigantic brain, which his brain was much smaller in the movie, unfortunately. I wanted that big giant fucking heart brain that he had in the comics, but we didn't really get that. But I mean, I think the first time I ever heard of the leader, I can tie it to video games here and to Nintendo games, was playing the Incredible Hulk game on Super Nintendo, because the leader was the main villain on that, and I always just thought he was funny because he's this dude with this giant head that's like, he's like the Hulk, but he's really smart, and I don't know, I always thought he was kind of a funny character, and I remember seeing him at the end of the Incredible Hulk movie and being like, oh, the leader, there he is. So he finally showed up in this movie, but I felt like this movie also kind of had like I wish that they wouldn't like have leaned so hard into the Red Hulk advertisement stuff also, because that's like I think it would have been better if maybe you didn't know that, because the Hulk doesn't, I mean, I'm gonna spoil this movie. I mean, he doesn't show up until the end
3
of the
weeks
movie.
or so.
He doesn't show up until like the last 5 minutes of the movie. The Red Hulk doesn't. And they very much like they very much like advertise it on the Red Hulk being in there. And
I put it front and center.
I kind of wish they wouldn't, but it also, I saw an article of somebody saying like that Disney cares more about putting butts in seats than like people's enjoyment of the movie or whatever, which I get that. It's like, yeah, you got Harrison Ford, you have fucking Han Solo turning into the Red Hulk. That's very appealing for a lot of people. So they put that front and center, but that's not, if you watch the movie without knowing that, it's supposed to be kind of a surprise at the end. Like, yeah, they allude to it, and there's there's parts like hinting at it, but I think it would have been better if we didn't know about that, because at the Alamo Drafthouse, they'll bring you your check like before like the last 5 minutes of the movie, and we got our check before we saw the Red Hulk, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, it's one of these situations. It reminded me of when Jess and I went to go see Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I was waiting to see the Rhino from the trailers, but you see him for like a millisecond at the end of the movie, and that's it. It's like, but the trailers show that. And I've watched like the trailers for Captain America, and the trailers basically show that entire fight that's at the end of the movie. That's like the climax fight is
That's
basically
annoying.
the trailer of the movie. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like maybe we could have tried to do that differently. I mean, maybe they were afraid of not. Apparently, it did all right. Like they made, they made some decent money off of it. But did we? I thought maybe they were afraid of it not performing as well, like some of the ones before it, Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah.
didn't really do that well. But I don't know. Maybe they were afraid of that. But it's like, do we need to? Yeah, do we need to like kind of give the whole movie away to get people to go see it? I don't know.
I thought Deadpool and Wolverine handled that similar kind of thing really well. Really well. What to me, if you don't have if the Red Hulk, if you're looking for a surprise to put in your trailer to draw some butts into the seats, and you don't have more than just the Red Hulk, then you just need more surprises. Like you got to,
Yeah.
having not seen the movie, maybe was that like the only big sort of juicy reveal surprise that they could have put in that trailer?
Well, I
Or
mean, I
was there?
guess I don't think the leader's in the trailer, but I saw, but
Mhm.
I like I said, I saw an article thing being like, "Oh, the leader's in there," and I was like, "Ah, I wish I didn't know that," because I guess that would have been the other surprise. And there are some appearances in there. If you haven't heard yet, there's some like whatever actors that show up that you don't think that they would. There were some surprises in there as far as that goes, but like the way the Hulk thing builds, I wish. I mean, I get it. Yeah, you want to. I mean, you have, like I said, you have Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like people, having Harrison Ford in a Marvel movie is a big deal. But I kind of wish they would have hid that better.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like Deadpool and Wolverine, I was pleasantly surprised, that I had not been spoiled on Blade being in there and Elektra. Like that was genuinely one of the most memorable moments in the movie theater for me in recent years, just because they were able to keep that a surprise. And that was cool.
Hmm. Yeah, it would have been cool if it was like if they did a trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine that had that showed Blade being there. Like that would be, but that
That
one
would have
was,
ruined it.
but that one was all about bringing people like older, ones from older Marvel movies, 20th Century Fox Marvel movies into it and that sort of thing. So I don't know how they would do it. But I mean that one, you have Wolverine and Deadpool. You don't need anything else to sell it. Like you already got that. You got two of the most popular characters
Right.
in the MCU right there. You don't need anything else. And I felt like after like how like Ant-Man 3 and like the Marvels like kind of failed in the box office. That maybe they were
Right.
trying to let's just put Red Hulk front and center and all that. But whatever. Like I said, I didn't hate it. There's a lot of other movies that I dislike a lot more. I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. Like I said, I like these characters. I like Sam Wilson. I like the leader. I didn't actually know that much about Red Hulk, and the cool thing about the movie is it actually like threw me into this whole. I read like 30 comics, Red Hulk comics. Like I read the origin of the Red Hulk and like all the way through. I basically read all of Jeff Loeb's run, which if anybody doesn't know who Jeff Loeb is, Jeff Loeb was actually a screenwriter originally, and then he became he became a comic book writer, and he wrote a lot of really really big comic book stories. I heard about him originally because Kevin Smith had referenced him before as being a huge influence on him as to why he got into movie making, because he heard about this guy who wrote a couple movies and then became a comic writer. So he's like, well, I should make a movie and then I can become a comic writer, like that sort of thing. So so Jeff Loeb wrote the original Teen Wolf movie, which apparently he sold for like $600 or something like that. It was like nothing. He sold
Became
it
a big hit.
he
Yeah.
sold it on spec for like nothing. And Commando, he wrote the Commando movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Schwarzenegger.
which I always thought was pretty good. But I think mostly what he's known for, aside from the Marvel stuff, is The Long Halloween, which is a really good Batman comic that he wrote. And there's actually an animated version of it on Max, on HBO Max, which is really really good. I think it's like the Calendar Man, like he kills somebody else on like all these different holidays for like a whole year. It's done really really well. But yeah, he wrote that comic among other things. But Marvel doesn't credit the actual original writers of these characters that they use for the movies or whatever. They're kind of a lot like, to bring it back to Nintendo again, they're a lot like Nintendo, where they're like, where they don't credit the, like where they did the re-release of like Donkey Kong Country Returns and they didn't credit like Retro Studios or like the Marvel or like the Nintendo Music where they don't credit the writers. That's kind of what Marvel does too, because they never actually credit the people who actually write the stories that they base the movies on. Like they're never in the credits. Like you didn't see Grant Morris's name on a Wolverine and Deadpool, even though the main villain was a Grant Morrison created villain. But you won't see that. You'll only see the people who wrote the screenplay. They won't thank the actual people who wrote the story. But Jeff Loeb was the one who created the original Red Hulk. And I have Marvel Unlimited. I'm sure I've mentioned it before on the show. It's like $10 a month. You can read millions of Marvel comics. And the great thing about Marvel Unlimited is whenever there's a new Marvel thing that comes out, they'll do a featured thing where they'll be like, "Oh, hey, did you see the Captain America movie? You want to know about Red Hulk? Here it is. Here's like the first appearance of Thunderbolt Ross, who becomes the Red Hulk, and it's like, and here's the first appearance of the Hulk, and it gives you all of the history of the character of the Red Hulk, and you read all of it, and that's basically what I had been doing because I've been on a lot of shoots where I've had a lot of hours of interviews and a lot of time to keep my mind sane. But I read comics mostly when we're doing interviews because it makes me feel less bored, and I can listen to the sound and read something as well, and it lets it go by faster. But I read it was called the series was just called Hulk. It was spin-off of Incredible Hulk, and it went for 25 issues, and there were two main Marvel events that happened in it. The Fall of the Hulks, and I think World War Hulk was part of that too. Anyway, but Jeff Loeb was the one who created Red Hulk, and the Red Hulk comic is really, really good, and I kind of wish they would have done more of that than what we had in the movie, because the Red Hulk in the movie is nothing like the Red Hulk in the comic. But I don't think General Ross is anything really like he is in the comics either. It's weird because Harrison Ford's character, Harrison Ford took over for John Hurt, because John Hurt was the original, or was it John or William?
It was William.
There's two different ones. Well, because
John Hurt was the one who was in.
John Hurt is Elephant Man, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
William Hurt was the guy who was in Dark City and a bunch of other things.
Yeah. Anyway, they're both Hurts and they're both dead, but one of them was. Yeah, you're right. John Hurt is the Elephant Man. William Hurt is the one who played the original General Ross. In the Incredible Hulk Edward Norton movie and Civil War as well, because they're paying off stuff from Civil War also from that movie. And see it, like I said, watching the movie, I'm kind of like, I was like, do people even remember this stuff? Like, I was talking to Jess about it, and they were like, I forgot about it, a lot of this, because it's been a few years before there's been like straight up regular MCU, story movies, that sort of thing. So
right, we went off into the multiverse.
We did really.
Got a little wild, yeah.
And it's been like, they were like, well, it's like, well, what even happened? Like, and even since the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show, right. It's been a minute since that too, because I think that was like a 2020 thing, and this is like 2025. So there's been a lot of time. Too. Yeah,
because you've seen the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, of course, but I didn't enjoy that. I thought it was a little kind of boring.
Oh, I've seen all. I've watched all of them. I've watched every Disney Plus Marvel thing.
Yeah, I've watched them all too, but that one in particular, there's been a couple points where I sort of fell off and fell behind with the MCU, and that was one of them. I just found that because that show was, to me, a little bit just kind of dry and I don't know, not that interesting. But did you feel that way? So I'm using that as a barometer to see if I would enjoy this movie.
I thought it was fine. I honestly didn't remember that much from it. I remembered a couple things. There's a character in the Captain America movie who apparently was in the show, which I do not remember him at all. Like Sam Wilson's, like his little sidekick that also has a Falcon uniform. I thought he had never appeared before, but he was in the show, which I only saw this because I watched like a breakdown video after we saw the movie, and because Jess was like, "Who was that guy?" And I was like, "I don't know. I think they just brought him in for the new movie." But then I found out later, he was in the show, and I guess I completely forgot about him. Because all I really remember from the Disney Plus show, I remember Baron Zemo being in there and having that dance at the club that everybody memed or whatever, and Elaine from Seinfeld, she was in there because she was in another movie. I don't remember what her point was. And there was the fake Captain America guy, the U.S. agent. But I didn't really remember what the story was of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I guess the cool thing is at Alamo they'll do like a 20-minute intro for every movie, and they'll show you like the build up to it. And so they show
movie.
Well, I mean for every movie there'll be some sort of 20-minute thing where they'll show like YouTube stuff or just like kind of their own little thing about whatever the
Some
franchise
context.
is that you're watching. Yeah, like context. But a lot of time for the Marvel ones, yeah, they'll do like recap videos before that'll show you what happened before. And they were showing all this stuff from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I did not remember any of it. So, but I was happy to see it there and be like, oh, okay, that's what happened. There was this guy that sat next to us. He came in and I think he was trying to make a joke to his girlfriend or wife or whatever. He's like, oh my God, they're showing the movie already. It hasn't even started yet. And I was like, well, actually, I was like, they're just showing you they're actually just showing you they're catching you up. They're showing all the things that happened in previous movies and TV shows. And he's like, oh, well, it's dumb anyway. And I'm like, all right, fuck you, dude. And he also left his phone out and it kept ringing. I should have reported him. I could have got him kicked out of the theater, but I didn't.
Nice.
But no, I'm saying I should have reported him. I didn't, but I should have. Because they put that at the beginning of every movie to keep your phone on dark. Do not leave it on your fucking tray next to your food so it can keep like lighting up. I'm just saying. I'm saying I could have kicked him out. Maybe I should have. I thought about it, but anyway, yeah, he was annoying. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not saying you should go out and spend money to go see it or whatever. I didn't think it was awful, but you might. Yeah, if you're probably really bored by the Disney Plus show, you might be kind of bored by this one too. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, like I said, I don't think it was boring. It was kind of like there were just like so much where I was like, why are you doing this, and why are we doing this, and it's like why is Captain America part of a Hulk story now? Like I just didn't understand where they were going with it. And then after reading all the Red Hulk stuff, like the comic book, I was like, this Hulk is not even anything like that Hulk. Like that Hulk is like fucking savage. Like the Red Hulk is like it's like Venom, he's I was telling Jess that he's like one of the old like Marvel villains that's just like a total asshole and just killing everybody, and I liked that. Like I mean I read the whole thing. Well, I read it until Jeff Loeb jumped off of it. And I read till like they gave and they went through like 25 issues before they even said who he was. They kind of made it like this sort of murder mystery thing about, Hulk kind of shows up and is killing people and we don't know who he is, but we have Bruce Banner's is contained in this government building where he can't come out and be the Hulk, so it's not him, so it's got to be somebody else. So they do all this cool like intriguing mystery stuff, and he kills Silver Surfer and takes his powers at some point, and it's just yeah, it's like. They just go savage with it in the comic, and this is like 2008 comics, even before like the MCU, so they could go really fun with it. But yeah, no, I loved it. Like I love the Red Hulk stuff. If you have Marvel Unlimited, read it. Like I'm saying, read Jeff Loeb's run. Like it's really he's a really good writer. Like I really liked what he was doing with it.
It's interesting that it's been since 2008 since that Hulk movie, since we had a Hulk movie proper, and I remember back when Thor. What was it? 3 came out, the one where Thor and Hulk battled it out.
Ragnarok,
in the arena. In Ragnarok, yeah. I think I remember seeing an interview with Kevin Feige where he was like, "Yeah, this is kind of how we're going to do the Hulk from now. He might not get his own movie for a long time or whatever, but we're going to build up his story sort of in the background of other stories like this." So it seems like they're doing it again, same thing they did with Thor Ragnarok.
From what I heard, there's some sort of there's like a property issue with it where I think Universal owns like Hulk solo movies.
Oh, right. That's right. I remember.
So
now.
I don't think we can actually do any Hulk solo movies. So we're basically going to pepper in Hulk villains into other characters, But yeah, it's also kind of like, yeah, where the fuck is Hulk at? And the great thing about Red Hulk is Red Hulk, became like. Red Hulk, when he's not Hulk, is General Ross, and General Ross is the ultimate villain of Hulk. Like he hates Hulk, he wants him dead. He's like the Magneto to Hulk's Xavier or whatever, And that was his passion, was destroying the Hulk, and then he actually becomes a Hulk himself in the process of trying to kill Hulk. And I think that's an incredible story. I don't know how you can make that. You can't make that work if there's no Hulk that exists here. Like you know what I mean? Like It was supposed to be where the leader like tricked him into being the Hulk because he was dying of old age or whatever, and he gave him some sort of heart medicine that had like a little bit of gamma radiation into it, and that slowly turned him into the Red Hulk. But it's like I liked it better where Ross just was like hell bent on killing the Hulk, and he became a Hulk himself in order to wipe him out. And it's hard to carry that story over when the Hulk doesn't even exist in the movie. So
yeah,
so I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, hopefully at some point they can iron it out with Universal the way they did with Fox, and well, they bought Fox. They
Yeah, they didn't iron it out. They bought them.
yeah.
I think
They bought 'em,
I
yeah.
think what you mean is Sony. I think what you're
Oh, Sony, yeah.
yeah. What I was thinking about is how they ironed it out with Sony and Spider-Man, because that was the whole thing too, where they couldn't do their own Spider-Man movies, and Sony did those. I mean, I haven't seen them, but apparently they're awful. Like like Madam Web and
Yeah,
Craven
they
the Hunter and all
officially
these
ended
like
them though.
really really bad Sony Spider-Man spin-offs, whatnot.
Yeah, with because Kroll is that the name of the last one that came out?
Craven.
Oh, Craven. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kroll's a whole other
Craven
thing.
the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter. Yeah,
Krull is an old sci-fi movie.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one bombed so bad that Sony officially gave up on their whole Sony verse of Spider-Man movies, except for the animated ones. Those are cool.
Well, I mean, but Madam Web bombed really badly too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
It was
know.
like the 1-2 punch. Yeah, because Craven,
Yeah.
after that one came out and totally tanked, they officially said we're not doing these anymore. No more Venom and no more Craven and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, Venom did all right though. I mean, they made 3 of those. Like it did.
They made 3 of those, but each
They
one
made
had
money.
diminishing returns.
Sure.
So those were their biggest hits of the bunch. But the third one came out, a year ago or so, and that one like barely scraped by, I guess. So they're done, which
Yeah.
is a good thing. I think it should come back to selling all the characters back to Marvel. That would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah,
But maybe they'll just keep making Spider-Man movies because Spider-Man will keep cleaning up.
it's true. I mean, they still made like $500 million off of Venom 3. I mean, they had $100 million budget and they made 500 off of it. So I mean, I wouldn't consider that I wouldn't think that to be like that they fucked up or disappointment or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
With the marketing and all that, though, I think they didn't make enough of a profit to justify it. Keep going.
I mean, I'm sure it was less than whatever the last one was, but I mean, as dumb as they were, I actually enjoyed the Venom movies.
That's what my sister said, that she liked them too.
Yeah, I liked them, and actually, they didn't make that much more than the last one did. I mean, they were maybe like 10 or 15 million less than Venom 2. I mean, I was saying it seems like they kind of all did the same amount of money. I mean, I thought it was enough to keep it going. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Tom Hardy's asking for extra money or something like that. But I mean, I liked Venom. I like Venom 1, I like Venom 2. And I'd like to see Venom 3 at some point whenever I don't have to pay $20 to rent it or whatever. But yeah, that's probably enough Captain America stuff. I ranted about Brave New World for like almost 30 minutes there. But I mean, when would be another time when we could actually talk about Marvel stuff? There's just the two of us here, so we can rant a little bit.
Sure.
But no, like I said, I encourage anybody who has Marvel Unlimited, or if you like the Red Hulk, or you see the Red Hulk, and I'm like, oh, I want to know more about him. Go out and get those Jeff Loeb comics, or read them on Disney or Marvel Unlimited or whatever, because they're really really good. Like, they're written really well. That's the cool thing about it, that the movie inspired me to read those books, and I loved them. I even switched my phone background now. Has a picture of the Red Hulk on it because I liked the comic that much. So there you go. I was that into it that I put the Red Hulk on my phone.
So red.
And actually the other one. All right, the other one is She-Hulk punching the Red She-Hulk, which there's also a Red She-Hulk from the comics, which might happen in the movie because the person who becomes Red She-Hulk, she does show up at the end of the Captain America movie. I'm not going to mention who it is. You might have seen her before in many other. I mean, it's a pretty well-known actor, but yeah, I kind of thought she'd show up, but she did. Whatever. So I mean,
Maybe I'll go see it this week.
We'll see the. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't blame me.
I won't. I'll hold you to it.
But it was we had a good time. Whatever, we had drinks, but it was also one of those things where I'm like, why? I'm like, what is the point of? I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but what is the point of it really? Like, what is it like?
Didn't move anything along.
It's like we're tying up loose ends from one of the first movies in the official MCU, but why? Like, why do we need?
Yeah.
I mean, I love seeing the leader in there, but why? Like, why do we have him here? Like, hopefully he'll do maybe he'll do something bigger in the next Avengers movie. And of course they were like, Sam, you got to start the new Avengers. It's like, okay, yeah, of course that's what's happening here. But I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know.
say one last thing, and then let's move on to the next thing.
Definitely.
The MCU in general is just like the reason why these movies I think are kind of plateauing at this point financially is just because they lack any kind of foreshadowing. We don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
And the reason why the first generation of MC movies were successful because we all knew it was building up to the Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
There was a very clear there were very clear like mile markers. There were the stones, and where were we were tracking where the stones were, who had the stones, and we knew that when the stones were coming in close together, someone had two stones or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was. That was an indication of we're getting toward the end, and we don't have that kind of anticipation throughout any of these last movies since Endgame. That's the reason why fans are kind of splintering off, or people like me are kind of like, maybe I can wait till Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
It's just like there's no momentum, nothing building up. We don't know where we're going, and we need that. We need to know that there's like something coming up. I'm not talking about even like following it through, fan websites or whatever. I'm talking within the movies themselves. There needs to be some kind of story structure leading up to an endpoint, a clear endpoint. And we don't feel like we're getting there right now. Having watched all the stuff except for this current movie, I don't feel like a whole lot of it really ties together or is building towards something. And that's the main problem.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right on that. It's there's not a real focus or target, and there's been all these stuff that just gets left. Oh yeah, and they go to this was definitely my least favorite Marvel movie of all time. The Eternals. Did you see that? I thought that movie was awful.
Pretty flat. Yeah.
Yeah, but the ending with you have the whatever the hand and the head in the ocean, they do that too. I forget what they call it, but I was like, I told Jess, I was like, they should call it Eternals Island because that's basically where it is. They called it like Celestial Island or something like that. I was like, just call it Eternals Island. But it's like, why is that there? And they're trying to tie up loose ends. But no, you're 100% right. They needed more of a target. They need to be building towards something, and they have not. They've just been, we did an Infinity War, we did Endgame. Those were great. They made a ton of money off of it. But then after that, it's like there's been no focus. Well, they were trying to do the Kang focus, but there was complications with that too, with the actor, and it was just like now we just don't really know where to go. So it's just kind of they need focus, So hopefully. Hopefully, maybe Fantastic Four will help that out or something. But I am actually more excited about seeing the new Thunderbolts movie than I was about seeing the Captain America movie. Because I think that one might actually be better just because I like the actors that are in that and I like the way they play off of each other. And there was a trailer for that before Captain America. There was not a Fantastic Four trailer, unfortunately, so I didn't get to see it on the big screen. But I am excited to see Thunderbolts. I think that's going to be fun. And I really like that trailer. And I like the people that are in that, because we have a lot of really good actors. We got the guy from Stranger Things in there. I don't know why I can't remember her name. That one actress that's like
David Harbour,
super good. Yeah, David Harbour's in there, but also
the other I can't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Hold on. Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh's in there too. Like one of the best actors out there right now. Like she's in there, and David Harbour and like Bucky as well, Sebastian Stan. I just think it looks fun. Look, it looks like a fun movie. Everybody's going to play off of each other, and I think it'll be a good time. But aside from that, I got another $100 eShop card from Sam's Club. I did the 10% discount again, like nice. A few months later. You never really know when it happens, and I think they might have even sent me an email about it or something, but. Because the first time I did it, it's like you can only do it once. Like maybe you can only do it once per year. I don't know. But I bought $100 in eShop points for $89. So I saved like $11 on that. And then I bought a voucher with it. So then I'm saving another $20.
$10 on top of that, yeah.
And I'm saving another. So I'm not as good with math to figure out all the percentages that I'm saving in there. But for me, it's good, because I'm I buy the $100 for $90.
It's a really good deal.
And then I get the $100 and I get two $60 games off that. So that's saving another $20.
So you're getting two $60 games for $90. So you're saving $30.
So I'm getting games for $45 each, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. So whatever that percentage is good for me. And I wanted to get the vouchers because, Jeremy and I, we talked about it last week, but the Xenoblade Chronicles X, we're both planning on getting that. That's like
sure.
I mean, I think it's important to Xenoblade Chronicles fans and Wii U fans and fans of NintenDomain because, Jeremy and I, we started this podcast. One of our first episodes was about Xenoblade Chronicles X, and 10 years later, on our almost 10-year anniversary, it's coming back again. So we gotta do our Xenoblade Chronicles X episode again, and I'm
do everything turn.
Hopefully beat it this time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about that game and about all the changes they're doing to it. So I didn't use my voucher yet, but I got it. I bought the vouchers. I already got them.
What's the second game going to be?
Well, I mean, the second game was going to be Metroid Prime 4 was my plan. That was going to be the second one, but I kind of alluded to it last week that as far as right now, you can't use a voucher on Metroid Prime 4, but that's also because there's no release date for Metroid Prime 4. You can't pre-order it yet, but there's still a spot for it in the eShop, but it's a mystery.
Yep.
Who knows?
Yep.
Will it be a Switch 2 game? Will it not? Who knows? We'll find out.
We'll find out
in like a month. But yeah, that was my plan. It was going to be for Xenoblade and Metroid. So that would be two solid entries for me, like two of my favorite franchises, Xenoblade and Metroid, in 1 year. So, but I mean, if it's not that, there's plenty of other games I still haven't gotten that I can throw it to if I have to. But I want to put it to the purchase of Metroid Prime 4. I've kind of, like I said before, I was kind of sort of having a Switch renaissance. I don't know if that counts. Like, I guess as Renaissance, you have to go away from it and then come back to it, right? I never really went away from my Switch, so.
Right. But you're having a sub-renaissance of sorts, like certain games that you were trying to that you were into at one point, but you kind of fell off for some reason, and now you came back to them.
Yeah, I was just trying to play some games that maybe I didn't really get that into, but I just remembered that I still had them, and I was like, I should try playing that again. I was just trying to play some older ones that I never really spent that much time with. Also, I haven't had a whole lot of time at home, so I haven't had a lot of time to play games. But Rise Race Against the Future was a racing game that I bought. I think a Switch Up they highlighted it and said it was really good, and I got it on sale. It's like a futuristic racer, and I played it a little bit, and I couldn't really get into it. But there was somebody on Twitter who actually called us out for talking about Ironfall Invasion, which was a remake of a 3DS game that I really, really liked. And apparently the same company also made Rise Race Against the Future, or whatever it is. So that intrigued me to go back and play it. And I re-downloaded it, and I was playing it while I was editing last week, and it's pretty good. I played through the first Grand Prix, and I did some of the. There's a mission mode where it's all right, this time finish in first place or first, third place, or don't use boost, or get above this car, or there's all these different challenges that you can do, and that's how you unlock different cars to compete in the Grand Prix and all that. And I liked it a lot better the second time, so I was just playing it while I was doing the edit and all that. I re-downloaded Sega speaking of Resonance, not Renaissance. I downloaded Shining Resonance Refrain, which was an old Sega RPG, which is supposedly kind of based on the old Shining and whatever, Shining in the Darkness, Shining Force games, yeah, on Genesis. I remember downloading it around the same time as Ys, and Ys just, I just was in Ys world, and I just didn't care about it anymore. But I was thinking about it, and I thought I might return to it. I haven't played it yet, but I did download it again. I was like, I'll go back to it. It's an action RPG, so why not? But I did play some more of Killing Time Resurrection. That's that 3DO game that you remember, the first-person shooter game with the
with FMV.
Yeah, with the FMV. And it was I like the way the characters look. I like the characters moving around. I mean, it's a Night Dive Studios game, so it looks great. It runs really well. It's 60 FPS and all that. And I think it's a little big for its own good. You kind of get lost easily. There's a map you can pull up, but I found this area where there's all these different cards that I need, and there's like 10 different cards that you need to collect. I mean, I want to play more of it, but I was also like, oh my god, this game is big. It's almost too big for its own good. But it was nice to return to it and just fuck around with it. But I mean, the game I played the longest was last night when I finally had some time to just throw into a game. I went back to X Nordics, and that was what my nickname was the White Whale Surfer. Was it last week? I said I was just I got to a point at the end of chapter 5, and it was the thing where they're like, all right, make sure you're ready for the next thing because we're going to throw a bunch of shit at you. So, get all your, get all your stuff in line or whatnot. Make sure you're ready. And so I went and I completed all the previous maps before that. I 100%ed everything. I went and found all the different treasures and stuff. And I actually there was some stuff I missed. So I went to the area where the thing was that I had to go to, and I got 100% of that too. I found some extra side quest stuff, and then I went on to it. And then it was just like pedal to the metal. Like right when I got there, it's like you're doing this mana surfing, and this giant fucking white whale chasing you. It almost kind of reminded me of like the old Sonic. It was the one with the whale. Was that Sonic Adventure 1?
Adventure,
where
yeah.
You had the big whale. But you also saw it in a couple of the Sonic racing games. I know like Sonic and Sega All-Stars 1, they definitely had the whale in there. I think the whale was in Transformed also. Which this is a news thing, but did you watch any of the footage of Crossworlds that's been out there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, because they did. Because they had a beta test that was for PlayStation 5 only. I put it on the Slack in case Jeremy could try it, but I figured he probably didn't have a chance to do it. But was it Game Explained did a few live streams of it, and it looks cool. It's not as when we were talking about it, like how you can choose like when it still has that, but It's basically like. The race, it'll give you a couple portals to drive through. And whatever portal you drive through, that'll change the race into that world.
For everyone else,
It's the way it works. It's not like it pauses and says, what race do you want to go to? So there'll only be a couple different choices for each race, but it's still really seamless how it goes from one thing to another. But it looks really cool. I'm really interested in it. And there's, I guess, since they're doing the snowboarding thing, they are going to bring people in from that the Sonic Riders game. Whatever characters they made for that, they're going to make an appearance too. And there's still a whole bunch of other ones that they haven't shown yet, so hopefully we'll do. I'd be surprised if they don't bring like Yakuza or like Persona or some of those other non-Sonic games in there as well. But it reminded me of that Sonic Adventure 1 there. And I'm surfing around with this giant whale, and there was a big giant boss and a bunch of a whole bunch of story stuff, and then it was end of chapter 5. So I'm in chapter 6 now of Ys 10. And it's an excellent game. Play it if you haven't. I've talked about it a billion times on the show, so everybody knows about Ys. they know what it is. It's a great soundtrack. Very actiony, wonderful game to play. Do it. Anyway, I'm done. You can talk about.
Whatever, of course, is going to be Tears of the Kingdom again. Still, that's the only game that I'm playing these days. Just trying to get it all done.
It is a hefty game.
Yeah, no. I keep inching towards saying it, but I'm not quite going to say it that I'm going to 100% the game. I'm sort of picking different categories that I know I want 100%. And one of those is I want to do all the costumes. So that was my focus this last week. I mentioned it before that I was doing the bullfrogs, and I got down to the very last one. And I decided rather than, doing the needle in a haystack, looking for the one last bullfrog, I thought it'd be more less frustrating, more productive to focus on doing the costumes, and I'm leaving the bullfrog tracker on just in case he happens to show up somewhere. And so I'm doing the costumes, and I'm writing down meticulously a list of everything that I need. I'm going with the Great Fairy, checking out what objects do I need, and I write it down on my phone. And I'm saying okay, now I'm going to go for star fragments. Now I'm going to go for warm darners and sort of attacking it that way. And that's been a good way to do it. And I've sort of whittled it down to some of these items are actually pretty tough to get. I think I've got most of the sort of easy grab and go items. There's still a few of those left, but most of the items are things like the Lionel Saber Horde, or things that I actually have to kind of work at, But surprisingly, one of the items that is really hard to get is one that I just assumed was plentiful, and that would be the Lizalfos tails. So Lizalfos tails are needed for a good number of the costumes, but I'm fighting all these Lizalfos, and I'm not picking up the tails. I'm getting like the bones or the horns, and
it's a shame that you can't just cut their tails off like in Monster Hunter. Like that's a whole thing.
No,
you collecting all these things to make like outfits, and I
Mhm.
know you have Monster Hunter because Jeremy got it
Yeah.
for you, and
Right.
you know that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom
Mhm.
took all of this from Monster Hunter.
From Monster Hunter,
like
right.
this is a game mechanic from Monster Hunter, and
Sure.
it reminded me when I was looking at the notes and I saw like the one. When it doesn't drop as much, that reminded me of looking for stuff in Monster Hunter to make new weapons and new armor and all that, because that's what all that was based around. And they borrowed that a while ago. Even like what was it? Even Triforce Heroes on 3DS had Monster Hunter stuff in it. You know, where
Mhm.
it's like where you have to get this. I think this is definitely pre Breath of the Wild, where you had to take like monster parts and make like armor out of it, which is the whole point of Monster Hunter, really, aside from like the co-op aspect of it and whatnot. But yeah, that just reminded me of that. It's like you're playing Monster Hunter, but you're not. But you're playing Zelda. But it's the same
Yeah.
sort of thing where you'll fight the same monster over and over again to get one thing to upgrade a certain certain piece of armor or weapon or whatnot.
Yeah, it's definitely from Monster Hunter, and I'm enjoying doing this. So maybe I would go back and try that game again. We have these Lizalfos tails. I finally looked it up to see like what's the deal here? Like, why am I not getting? I've killed like 50 of these things, and that is yielding like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 tails. Um, I looked up what was the drop rate, and apparently it's around 1 in 10. So
So you
I mean,
gotta kill 10 of
yeah,
them.
yeah, you got to kill 10 Lizalfos to get. There's different arguments too. I saw some people say like it's 1 in 20 or something.
I mean, there's a bunch of
I would
different
believe that
ones
too.
too, right? I mean, there's a bunch of
Yeah,
different versions of the right
right. And
of
some are more rare than
Lizalvos. So
others.
it's like
There's
which one?
electric, fire. There's ice. There's regular Lizalfos. Yep.
Yeah, and it's like where I mean, I'm sure there's an area that you can farm them or whatever, right? I'm sure there's something on Reddit where it's like, oh, go here and there's the most amount of. Or did you look that
Right.
up already?
Yeah, I've looked that up. I found actually a map, which it's an item map, an interactive item map you can put on your phone, and you can select what item you're looking for, and it'll show where it's located. And it works to varying degrees. I think I just have an older phone, and so it's not working so great. It's kind of sluggish. But yeah, I'm looking up exactly where these things are and trying to figure it out. And those tails, I don't know. So I'm taking a similar approach to the tails as I've taken to the bullfrogs, which is like, okay, I'm gonna go look for other stuff, and I'm gonna hopefully gather some of those tails in the process. But I
Yeah,
think to go look for the
along the
tails
way.
specifically is going to be like a hair pulling experience. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week is just Zelda.
I mean, maybe we could. There some. I mean, some of those outfits that you got to get. Don't you need a Amiibo to get them? Like through
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really looked. Honestly, I haven't looked up a whole lot of like how to get this or that. I just am enjoying playing the game, in its own way. Not looking outside the game to try and figure out how to do stuff.
Would you cut that out of your search? I mean, it's because you said you wanted all the different outfits, but you
I
probably
do.
don't want the Amiibo, the ones that you can get from scanning. Because I think there are specific. Well, at least Breath of the Wild had them,
Hmm.
where there were specific outfits that you could only get from scanning Amiibo. I never really fucked with it, but
Yeah, I would count
yeah,
that as like 100% is everything that I can get with just the game itself. I don't want to have
sure,
to
yeah,
buy Amiibo
yeah,
to get outfits or whatever.
yeah. Because I think you can get like there's like an Ocarina of Time outfit or something like that, or maybe
I've
that's
got that
just
already.
okay. I would say maybe that was just Breath of the Wild, but I thought yeah, it might have just been that one. But I thought
I
there was
think that
some
there
that you
was
could scan to get.
Yeah. So I think there are outfits that you can get you can earn them properly in the game, or you can just scan an amiibo to get them. And the Twilight Princess outfit is one of them, I believe. I think there's the Midna's hat that you can get by scanning the amiibo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
But I've got that already too.
Well, if that's enough for the Tears of the Kingdom, why don't you just throw a Picochat in here too? Because didn't you fuck around with that a little bit before we started?
Oh yeah. So thanks to Jesse for alerting me to this. But Picochat is now available on your iPhone. You can go to the App Store and you can download the app called Picochat, Pico with no T. And how it works is basically it's a widget that fits into iMessage. So just like when you go to type a message and you type in and you click on the space where you put the message on your iPhone, the keyboard comes up, and then at the top of the keyboard, you have access to a bunch of widgets for different things. Your cache, you have the audio recorder. You can throw in links to a song on Apple Music and all that. And now one of the things you can do is you can click on Picochat. So I'll show you right here. So there's Picochat for the video watchers here. There's Picochat. And when you click on that, you have a very familiar looking field pop up, which you can't see too well on this. So it's a little blown out.
Yeah, well, that's probably because it's all white. So, but you're saying you can send it to people, right? Like it doesn't need to be, because the original Picochat, you would have DSs like in the vicinity of each other, and you draw a picture and send it to people. But on this, you can use it like within like Facebook Messenger or like texting. It's like that sort of thing, or no?
Not through Facebook Messenger. You use it in iMessage itself, your regular iPhone texting app.
Yeah, through regular text messages.
Yeah. And so you basically you're drawing a little photo using a Picochat interface. Here, I'll do it again right now. I sent some to. Here, I'll send it just to you, not to Jeremy as well.
Yeah, I saw.
Ready.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it earlier.
Ba-ba-ba.
But
Hello.
so you can just work it right into your just into your text message.
Right, and here's something cool that you couldn't see when I sent it to you earlier. Is that when you do it, there's an animation. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you cannot with this. Look, I have a stylus on there now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can see
it. Actually animates a stylus as you drag your finger around.
Interesting. It's. I would think that it would still be difficult to. That's the thing that sucks about a phone versus the DS. You got your big fucking finger in the way of everything, and you can't see it as well as you would. With the stylus, it feels like you got a pencil, and you know what I mean. Like your hand kind of takes up a lot of the touchscreen, and you can't draw it as well.
Yeah.
There it is.
It works really well, surprisingly well. It works exactly as I remember it working on the DS. You can type on there as well if you want to, and it'll be the font that you remember. Or there's the little icons that you can use from back in the day. Like they didn't have emojis or anything on Picochat back then, but I guess it's Picochat's own version of emojis. Like they look a little different than.
They might have had
they have little smiley faces, but they're like
a similar thing.
Little blocks. Here, I'll send you right now, like little block face guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. As far as function, like
would you ever? It's like, would you ever use it like for anything? It
would just confuse anyone who didn't use DS ever. There's no practical purpose for it. It's just something fun, Oh, yeah. I think it's from the same guy. You might remember hearing about something similar to this a couple months ago. I think it's the same person who did it for. It was just an online version. You could go on the website and we messed around with it. I remember. But it was all online based, but I think it's the same guy. I'm not certain on that, but he's just made an Apple version for it.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, it looks like Picochat, but it's like, how would you, how do you, there it is. Sorry, I had to. That's what everybody did on Picochat.
No.
It kind of looks more like a wounded dinosaur, but yeah, it's supposed to be a penis picture.
And it's spitting, a spitting dinosaur.
Oh yeah, no, it's I mean, we drew so many of those back in the day of a Picochat. I remember Tim and I sending all sorts of pictures of penises coming to each other through Picochat. So there you go. Yeah, it's a silly
That's
thing.
what you do.
It's on there. All right. Well, on that note, why don't we take a break and then we'll come back and talk about the news and Amiibo and whatever else.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
Back from the break.
I actually thought of one more thing that I'd like to mention that I'm pretty sure our listeners will be interested in, seeing as we like Japanese culture, right? So for Christmas, I got my mom a bonsai tree set, and my parents are on vacation for the next week or so, and the trees are still in their young stage where they need a lot of care. So I'm in charge of babysitting these trees, and it's just cool, to see baby bonsai trees.
Oh, you have them with you?
I have them with me. Yep.
Oh, I thought you were like taking care of them at their house. I didn't think you.
No, because you got to water them every day, and you really got to watch them at this stage, otherwise they're not going to grow.
And you just watched what was it, Karate Kid 3 that had the was that the one that had like the broken inside of the bonsai tree or whatever?
The number 3 was the one that really dug in on the bonsai trees as part of the theme of the story.
As a comparison to your life or your karate journey or whatever.
Right. I didn't watch that. I didn't watch that recently. I've seen it, a couple of years ago. But of course, Karate Kid. Yeah, I rewatched all of Karate Kid. Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen Yeah, well, I just remember there being one that had a heavy focus on taking care of bonsai trees. Was it?
That was number 3. Yeah,
It was 3,
number
right?
3.
Yeah.
Number 3. It starts with them opening a bonsai store.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of where they're at. Which again, man, Cobra Kai.
Let's say, don't they come back to that too in Cobra Kai? Like
they do, and
stuff?
they make like everything else. They come back to it and they make it even better and like build upon what was already there, but do it better. Yeah. So there's a couple of points in Cobra Kai where bonsai trees sort of come back into focus, and I don't know, one of them that really got me. So I'm kind of thinking about all that as I'm taking care of these bonsai trees. Is just interesting. I'm not a gardener. My mom really likes gardening, so that's why I got her these, and I just thought it was cool. This was a kit that I got on Amazon for like $50. And yeah, we can grow your own bonsai trees. I wasn't even thinking about that when I got them for her. I was aware, but bonsai trees live a long time. They live like 75 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I guess,
so,
I would think that trees in general live for a pretty long time, right?
They do, yeah. But I mean, I just wasn't conscious of that when I made the purchase, and so it's kind of like I'm taking care of these trees, and we're growing them right now, but this is probably going to be something that becomes mine at some point down the line. And so it's just interesting to start with these trees this young, and if we grow them right, these trees will outlive even me.
Yeah, that's 75 years.
35 years.
That's more than a parrot even. I know parrots can live for like 60, 70 years.
So you can't quite see all of them. Only one of them is really like pretty tall. There's a couple that are sprouting there.
I thought they'd be a little more. Well, how long have you had them for?
Well, I got them for my mom for Christmas. I think she planted them. It was like mid-January or so. So these are about a month.
So they're just little sprouts. They're not
little sprouts. Yeah,
I'm saying they don't look like. I don't know. I don't know anything about bonsai trees. I mean, like from what I gathered from the Karate Kid movies, they look like miniature trees. But you gotta.
Right, everything is to scale. That's the cool thing about the bonsai trees.
But you still have to put a lot of effort into it, right? Or is that just what they were using for the movie?
No, you have to put effort into them, and the thing is that they'll just keep growing forever. Like they can get huge. They get to like the size of what you think would an average bush might be. But the thing with the bonsai trees is, you're supposed to trim them and sculpt them in a way so you can actually like significantly influence what the trees actually are,
like they're
shaped like.
Yeah, they're shaped.
So that's part of the whole process, and the spirituality of maintaining a bonsai tree is like, you shape this thing that grows from nature, and you can have it look however you want. But that's just so cool that to me, what I think is cool, I think probably what everybody thinks is cool about them is that they're to scale. Like they're to scale with larger trees. So like the bark doesn't look, it doesn't look like a small tree with bark the same size as a regular tree. Like the bark is scaled down to everything about it is proportional. Yeah, they're just like miniature trees. Everything is to scale, and like the bark is to scale. It's not like it's like a large tree or something that's just cut shorter or something. It's not like for instance like a branch of a tree or of large tree that just cut off. It's like everything is actually to scale. The leaves, the bark, all that kind of stuff, and it looks like a little tiny tree. So it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be interested to see how that goes. We can always have updates in the future about it.
Bonsai report,
yeah. But since we're in the second half, you had an idea, which is a pretty good idea, to talk about the future of Amiibo for Switch 2, because I mean, from what I've been listening to for other podcasts, I guess, and I kind of feel the same way, is that I feel like Amiibo might be done. Like that maybe they're just kind of not going to do anything more with it. And I've heard, I didn't read the article that you sent me. I didn't have enough time to, but
sure.
But I mean, from what I gathered from it, from what you were saying through summarization, is it seemed like the person was kind of looking on it more as like the DLC aspect of it, and not the actual like figure aspect of it. Because for me, like, I mean, for anybody who's a patron or has ever known me, I'm a collector of toys. Like, I like toys a lot. And the big thing that I really loved about Amiibo is like, these are toys of characters that we've never had toys of ever before, and
Right.
maybe never will again. Do you think there's ever going to be a toy of Wii Fit Trainer? No. This is the only toy we're ever going to see of this, so... Or like the fucking Mr. Game & Watch. Like, I mean, it's like these really cool things that you can buy that I just want to buy just for display to just look at because they make me feel good. It's like, I love, like I bought a whole bunch. I have like 20 shelves that just hold Amiibo just so I can look at them. So that's kind of where I'm at on it, because I don't honestly, and it's even, I can't even do it because I don't play with the Nintendo Pro Controller or the Joy-Con, so it's hard to even scan them even if I wanted to.
Right.
But I mean, it's, I think a lot of it is, I guess if you didn't start collecting them 10 years ago, like, why even start now?
It's a little intimidating.
It's really expensive, yeah.
So I'm in a maybe a unique position where I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I don't have a whole lot of them. Just because 10 years ago, I wasn't really in a place where I could like just buy a bunch of extra figures, and I thought they were a little expensive at the time, and it's like if I'm going to spend 12, I think they started at $12, right? At the time they were $12.
I think the original price of them were $11.99, and they've gone up over years, obviously because of inflation. They've gone. I think they're like 16 now or something.
Now they're $15.99. Yeah,
but they were originally $11.99, like at the start, and they released for Wii U with the Smash Brothers Wii U game was what they released the same time as that one, like on the same day. And I remember going to Toys R Us. Yes, Toys R Us still existed. Jess and I went to Toys R Us on Western, and I bought a few of them, and I was thinking about it all wrong. I was buying the popular ones instead of the not popular ones. You should be buying Wii Fit Trainer. You should not be buying, like, Link. There's going to be a million Links out there, I should have, I should have bought Wii Fit Trainer. I remember looking at, like, the Fire Emblem ones and not getting them, but really wanting them. I should have got those. I think even Star Fox was kind of pretty rare. But I don't remember it. I felt like it was like maybe 10 or 11 of them in the first, very, very first run that you had there, but there were still some weird ones. I'm pretty sure Wii Fit Trainer was at the beginning there, and Marth was.
Yeah, she was. I remember.
Yeah, and I remember me just regretting, because I think I only got like maybe Link and Star Fox or something like that. Like when it came out, like on release, I only got a couple of them, and then I automatically regretted it. I was like, oh shit, I should have got more, because then I heard about them all being rare and hard to find, and they were really high in price on eBay and all that. And I did actually, I bought some off Amazon, but I bought them from Japan, and those were cheaper because, in the Japanese market, they're not assholes. Like, they're not going to buy a bunch and then automatically mark them up. So you'll get them like for $1 or $2 more than what the price is here. And you'll get them in the case, and they'll be in Japanese. And if you're opening them, you'll never know. I don't know which one. I know my Wii Fit Trainer is from Japan, but you won't really know unless you remember where you got it from.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't get into Amiibo back when they came out. To me, it was like, if I'm going to spend $12 on something, I have a budget for video games. I don't have a budget for
accessories,
toys or decorations or accessories. I have a budget for video games. That $12 that could go toward an actual game that I wanted to play. And so
I definitely did not have a budget at the time. I was just steering into my passions. I was not budgeting for money. I was just like, oh, look, Link, I like him. Samus, yes, need it.
So that's kind of the way that I looked at it. And, as a consequence of that, 10 years on, I really don't have very many. I've got Chibi Robo. I've got a handful of Animal Crossing ones that I got at Five Below for only a couple bucks. And that's it. So this article comes out last week on the website Screen Rant, which kind of struck me. It was a little bit.
Aren't they the guys who do like everything wrong with this? Isn't it? Didn't they originally start as like a movie critique thing?
They do all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
I used to watch their stuff years ago. I don't really watch it anymore, but I used to.
Yeah, and they published an article which was a little bit clickbaity, and it worked because I read it and now I'm talking about it. And
you clicked it
on our podcast.
You did what they wanted you to do.
Yep. It's called "If Nintendo Switch 2 Doesn't Fix Amiibo, It's Time to Leave Them Behind Completely." And so that was the whole thrust of the article. This person thought that they were underutilized and that the gameplay, if I'm summing up their position very broadly, but that they're underutilized and they don't add much to the gameplay, and it's time to let them go. I disagree with the idea that they should be let go. Because I think they're cool. I think I agree with the portion that says that they're underutilized and they're not critical to the gameplay or don't like add anything significant. But I also at the same time recognize that they sort of what Amiibo are in terms of the gameplay. It kind of puts Nintendo in a tricky position where if they do significantly alter the gameplay, now a lot of fans are gonna get mad because essentially a huge portion of the game is going to be locked behind a $15, $16 paywall.
True, yeah. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, like I said, last time I counted, I had 100. I think I have more than 100 now, but I've rarely used any of them for anything. Like I said, I got them just to look at them, and I think most people do. But yeah, it is kind of a tricky thing because they did do like deluxe versions that came with them, and I remember like Metroid Prime Dread. There you could get additional energy tanks and missiles like with your amiibo, and I had those amiibo, and I didn't even like that being. I was like, oh, I can't get 100% without it. That's not true. You can. Like if you get it, it's like it's aside from the actual getting 100% in the game, which I was happy with because I was like, oh wait, you got to scan a thing, even though I already owned it. I was like, but you shouldn't do that. It shouldn't take away from what the game is. I guess that's kind of the problem. I mean, they kind of because like what was it? Didn't like Skylanders already exist like when the Amiibo first started? So I felt like they were kind of like going into what that was, but then they outlasted that.
Yeah.
But even like, I don't know, it didn't really work for them. And I felt like Amiibo lasted as long as they did because it resembled a Nintendo thing that people love.
Right.
And I think that was why it lasted so long because they wanted the figure of the character that they love so much. They don't care about what you get from it in the game.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that, Nintendo tracks everything that you do on the Switch. And certainly they know how many people are scanning their Amiibo, right?
I would guess it's single digits or something.
Right. So having not bought any, I wonder, can you like register your Amiibo in some way? Like I bought this or it doesn't really work like that. Because I'm wondering, does Nintendo know A, these are all the Amiibo that John has bought, and then B, John, is he using these Amiibo to scan them?
Well, I think they would be able to tell, like, because I think you have to register them to use them on the games. Mm-hmm. But if you bought them and never scanned them, like,
they wouldn't know.
They would never know. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Like, they would know. I guess they would know like how many they sold, but they don't know that you bought them or what you're doing. You bought them, yeah. Whatever. They would only know if they actually showed up. But I'd be interested to see that number because I bet you anything it's like less than 5% of the people who have Amiibo like use them for scanning or whatever.
I think most people are like us. They just like the cool figures.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I hope they keep going. I hope they keep going with Amiibo. I don't agree with this person that if that Amiibo is like fundamentally broken, which is what the title of the article says.
Yeah.
That they need to be fixed. I don't think they need to be fixed. I think that most people are probably buying them just to put them on their shelf, and therefore they don't need to be fixed. But if I'm just buying it to put it on my shelf, I'm looking at that $15.99 price and wondering, like, do they all have to be $15.99? Like, can we lower the price of some of them?
Well, I mean, they do have varying prices, and I saw that you put that on Slack about some of them being $9.99. And speaking of what you're saying about buying like Animal Crossing Amiibo at Five Below, that's what they did. They actually released Animal Crossing Amiibo at a lower price because Animal Crossing was so hot in 2020. They released those for like $9 versus like whatever the regular Amiibo was at the time. And because they thought that Animal Crossing was the more like, it was the more casual game. So like, but also they kind of screwed themselves over because they made a whole bunch of Animal Crossing Amiibo and nobody bought them. And that's why they showed up at Five Below. So it was kind of like a little bit too much, but they did kind of do that because they thought that since everybody was playing Animal Crossing, then this would be like their entryway into the other Amiibo stuff. So let's make the Animal Crossing ones cheaper, and that'll maybe get you to buy the $30 Guardian Amiibo or something like that for Breath of the Wild, like that sort of thing. So they did do a shorter, or they did do a cheaper version, and also like there's been different ones. I mean, we all have the Amiibo cereal box. Know, the Mario cereal that's an Amiibo.
Yeah, we all like Amiibo so much that we ate some.
Yeah, I mean, because that one was an Amiibo. Don't forget that. And also there was the There was like the yarn Yoshis that were different prices. Like so, there's been or like there were the Detective Pikachus that were bigger that cost more. And like it's the same with like the Guardian, the giant the giant squid guys for Breath of the Wild. Those one were more expensive because they were really big.
Or the Ami set from Metroid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there were sets too where they came with a couple. Like I remember, and even like what was it? Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, like the worst Animal Crossing ever. Like that came with a couple Amiibo, but that was.
I think that's the one that I actually got. I remember mine came in a set like that. I think
it was
going to say Amiibo Festival.
I mean, those were for free because they were trying to get you to buy Wii U games. They're like, hey, buy this game for like $40. We'll give you some free Amiibo. Like, hey, they're trying to get people to buy Wii U games. So, and I think I got that. I think I got that on sale for $20 or something with the Amiibo in there. I got it on the cheap from Target or something like that. So,
So I want them to I want them to continue with it, but I think that they would be smart to standardize like different price tiers. Like I don't want to pay $16 for a Goomba. I want to pay $9.99 for a Goomba, right? The characters that are a little bit more generic or less exciting, put all those characters out for $9.99. Just consider those the starter Amiibo for folks like me who are interested, but just like don't want to spend $16 every time you put out a new one. Give me some cheaper ones because I'm looking at Amiibo as something that once I'm in, I have to buy a whole bunch of them, right? And so it's intimidating. If I think, okay, $16.99 times what's an appropriate number of Amiibo to consider? Oh, now I have a collection. Maybe 25, 30, right? So you're talking like $500.
It's a pricey endeavor, yeah.
Yeah. So, but just put out some cheaper ones that are going to get me into it a little bit more. So where maybe I'm thinking, okay, I can start a proper collection for a total of maybe $100. That'd be cool.
This is what I would like to see from the future of Amiibo for Switch 2. So, I mean, we'll go both sides here about like having the collectible and having the DLC. I think that what you should do is that we should have like maybe like a deluxe version of the game that comes with the Amiibo, but the Amiibo has like DLC that you would normally get with like a deluxe version of a game, and do it that way. Like I feel like that should
be the Chibi-Robo way.
Yeah, I mean they have done that before, but maybe you remember like where they did it for other systems too. Like I remember I bought a fucking pizza box for Catherine on PlayStation 3 that like came with a T-shirt and a body pillow and all this other weird shit, and an art book, but it was the same price. It was like $60. I like that. That's actually what I thought I was going to get from my Ease 10, my Ease 10 game when I bought that, and I just got a little tiny booklet and a digital code. But I thought I was going to get like a big box or whatnot. But I mean, do that. I mean, because I know Nintendo, like they're still going to do the physical releases. Like they get the most sales. Nintendo does, So, I mean, the people who buy games, like who want physical games, most of them are the ones who are buying it for Switch and that sort of thing. So yeah, let's if you're going to make Amiibo, make it for the super fans. Like, let's do a digital, let's say like a digital deluxe version of Echoes of Wisdom with the Zelda. I never understood why they didn't make a Zelda Amiibo for that game, like that looked like that character and all that. Like, I would have bought it. Like, I loved the art style of that game.
Yeah, true.
And I would say like maybe we should do that going forward, but also give you the option to buy it on the side, but maybe have it as part of a deluxe thing, or I don't know. And I mean, I understand. Yeah, sure, we could do an entry level that has like, because they do have like a Goomba and Koopa Troopa ones and stuff like that, and I think they're just the same price as the other ones. But
yeah, and those characters are almost by design just like less exciting. Those are the grunt characters.
Yeah.
So like put them at a grunt character price, $9.99, please.
Yeah, bring it. Yeah, put them in a little bit less. And also don't forget. I mean, toys are pretty expensive. Like I've looked at like AEW, like All Elite Wrestling figures, and those go for like $20, $30, like just off the rack at Target, and that's just a toy that has no DLC on it. So
right. And
we got to deal with it, inflation and whatever, and
I mean, Amiibo, they're nice looking, but they don't have any articulation or any sort of like.
They don't move, but some of them look really, really good. Like those Xenoblade ones that I have look fucking great. Like I was showing them to Jess's friend Caroline. Her mom is like an artist. Like she painted she painted a painting for our wedding and all that. I was showing her around the house, And I was just showing her my Amiibo, and she's like, "Oh my god, like the molds for this are so intricate." Like she understood like the way like
How to make those,
the toys were created and all that. And I was like, I like you. You were right. Yeah, no, you can see the detail on those Xenoblade ones. They look really, really good. I mean, granted, they're like 4th or 5th like generation Amiibo toys, but they look great. Yeah, they don't move, but like they're beautiful to look at. Like they look like I feel like I'm not overspending for.
Yeah.
I think I bought the was the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 ones. I think I paid $40 for a 2-pack. I'm fine with that. I think they look gorgeous, and that's like $20 on Amiibo, but they look beautiful. Like they don't, they look like little mini statues, and I don't know what they work for DLC. I never looked into it, but I don't care. I just want to look at them because they look great. I feel like they're designed really well. I mean, we don't have the P stands anymore, like of the original Amiibo, where Link had that big yellow stand that like held his leg up, or like where Donkey Kong's like he's got like the ice block in his butt or whatever. We don't have all that weird shit from the first.
They figured it out
from the first line. They look really nice now, so I don't know. But yeah, I really hope they don't take them away. And I mean, I do understand I understand the argument of like that they don't really do much for the game stuff, but I mean, I'm the wrong person to talk to because I'm going to keep buying them.
Well, yeah, I think there's several ways to go about it. One is keeping them as put them in the packages as a special packages, etc. Like Trey just mentioned, or like I have the Chibi Robo one with the Chibi Robo zipline. That's the way that game came was with the Chibi Robo Amiibo.
The Amiibo was the best part of it. That's for sure.
Amiibo was the best part of it. Yeah,
game was not great, but the Amiibo was good. I got that same one too. Game was really a disappointment.
I think it would be cool as long as we're reworking the gold points and all that to reconsider Amiibo as maybe a physical reward. Like let's say you buy 5
for sure
games and you get gold points. What if you could spend some gold points on an Amiibo?
That'd should be. Well, as far as we know, they're going to keep the platinum points, right? And you can use the platinum points to get physical rewards. So why not work that into getting Amiibo? I know.
I was just listening to this week's NBC, and they touched on that, the gold and platinum, and I think I agree with them.
I listened to that too.
It's kind of confusing to some people. I think if they merged it so where it was like you only have one category of points, just gold, and you can spend them however you want, that could be interesting. Maybe you could spend some on Amiibo.
Yeah. Also, when I hear people being like, I don't even know what gold points are, I'm like, you privileged fucks. Right. You privileged fucks. Come on. You get shit handed to you on a silver platter. That's why you don't know about gold points. You're just throwing money away. Like, come on.
Right.
Actually, there was one, that episode kind of pissed me off because, when they're like, I don't know why the IGN watermark is on there. I was like, the reason that it was on there, I heard from like older IGN people that aren't, maybe you young people don't know. But the reason that the IGN watermark is on the
Okami.
is on the Okami game thing is because they fucking fired everyone from Clover and they had no pictures to use for the cover of their Capcom game, so they stole a picture from IGN. I mean, if Per Schneider was there, I think he would have let them know. But I read that on an article from IGN about why that was. Yeah. And that was because they like liquidated the company and they didn't have anything to use, so they ended up with an IGN picture.
That just says IGN's been around for a long time, and there's a point where you can't know everything about IGN.
I'm not blaming them. I like Reb and Logan and all that. I'm just saying. I heard that from you. Like, come on, I know that from. I learned that from IGN. Come on. I am interested to test out Logan's theory about. He said that I don't know if this is necessarily true or not, but he did say that you could still get gold points from games that were released before the 25th. I thought that you wouldn't get any after the 25th. So let's see if that actually is a thing, because I'm not. That's the only place that I've heard that on, and I'll test it out. But I was going to try to build up a stack of gold points before the 25th is what I was going to try to do, because I got a little extra money. So, I thought about doing that. But on that note, I mean, are we good to switch to the news?
Yeah, let's go to the news.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Let's go to the news. I do want to talk about the releases this week because we got a lot of releases going on. Ninja 5.0 Do you remember that game? That was a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, it was a Game Boy Advance game that people seem to like.
It was rated really well, probably by Craig Harris, because he did a lot of handheld reviews back in the days of IGN. I was always interested in it. I don't think I'm $25 interested in it, but that's what that's the price that it's going for.
Yep.
But yeah, it's coming out this week. This one was an interesting one that kind of just jumped out of nowhere, or I didn't know about it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection for $50, and this is 14 Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. Like, that's a lot of games.
I'm not a fan, but that's a lot of games for $50.
That's a big-ass collection. Well, it's like $50. You got to have something in there. And I looked through the list, and there's 14 games, and I think some of them were Japan only that are being released now. So people who are a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And from what I could tell from it looked maybe like Game Boy Color stuff, like kind of from the art style of it or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, if you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, then hey, 14 games. Yeah, there it is.
Gyo.
Yeah, yes. Gyo and get that game. Glover, the wonderful Glover 64 game is coming out this week on the 27th. It's in the eShop already. It's going for $19.99. I actually discovered the other night that I have Glover for the 64.
Oh.
And I was playing it in the background here for the video patrons. And the game stopped working while I was ranting about Captain America. So who knows if it still works. I couldn't get it to work during the break, so it might be broken. So I was like, well, I already have it. I should try to play it. But it might have died when I just left it running. I only left it running for like 30 minutes.
You must not remember it very much.
Yeah. But no, I do remember. I thought that I had maybe bought it and tried it out and didn't think it was that great. But I thought about trying it again just for content for the show. But I already have it. I already have the cartridge of it, so I'm kind of like, I don't know. They need to have like some save states or rewind or something like that for $20. I don't think I'll end up getting it, but a lot of people really like it. Like I've heard people talk really highly of it, and I think that's why I bought it from MGC or whatever other gaming convention. But I don't remember being that impressed with it. Like
yeah,
when
I have a
finally got to
suspicion because I remember the reviews on this back in the day being like meh. And then it always kind of surprised me to hear that people talked about it so fondly. I just have a suspicion that this is one of those like rose-tinted glasses games where people played it last when they were 5 years old and they think it's great. It's probably just kind of mid.
That happens for a lot of games. Yeah, they remember playing it as a kid, and it makes them feel like a kid while they play it or whatever, and that's why they like it. But hey, here you go on Switch. If you don't have it, get it. But you know what's much more interesting than that to me, which I probably will buy, is this new game called Omega 6, The Triangle Stars, and that may mean nothing to you, and I understand because that's a weird title. But the idea, what was really intriguing about it is that I guess it's getting made by Takaya Imamura, who was the guy who originally designed the Star Fox characters and the F-Zero characters for Super Nintendo. And it's like I think it's supposed to be kind of like a visual novel RPG thing, which I'm not really into visual novels, but I'm willing to try it out just because I love the artwork of it, because, like I said, he designed like my favorite characters from like F-Zero and Star Fox. And on that alone, it makes me incredibly intrigued by it. And it is actually on sale. It's like $10 off right now.
Well, that's a good sale.
It's launching for $25, but it's on sale right now for $15. So I'm kind of like, I'm probably going to get it just because of that. Just because of like how much I love the artwork, I'd be willing to try it out because I remember I read all those comics on Nintendo Power, like the old comics for Star Fox, and I how much I love F-Zero and the characters and the original art from the Super Nintendo game. So I'm really curious. I'm really curious as to where they go with it. And apparently they do have a company who does a lot of like visual novel type stuff. So yeah, I think I have to try it out. I've said before, $15 is a really easy selling point for me. If it's $15, you don't have to twist my arm for that. So I'm really interested in that game. Also, this game called Justice Ninja Casey, which is actually a 16-bit Sunsoft action game that was a Super Famicom game that was never released in America, is coming out this week for $6 for $5.99. So nice. I didn't realize that was so cheap, so I might get that one too.
It's a good week for ninja games.
Yeah. We got Ninja 5.0, Justice Ninja Casey. There's actually another ninja game that I didn't recognize that I didn't put on here because I didn't have anything to say about it. But we got like three ninja games. And speaking of ninjas, not really ninjas, but this other game I put in here just on the name alone. I don't know if I'm probably the only one that remembers this, but the Zebra Man. I saw that there's this game called the Zebra Man coming out, and Takashi Miike is a Japanese director who's made a bunch of really, really good movies. They're kind of all over the place. He actually did make a live-action version of Yakuza that's really good. He did a Phoenix Wright as well. But before that, he did Ichi the Killer. You've seen it, John. You're the first one who introduced me to it in college. Takashi Miike is probably my favorite Japanese director of all time. He's got a lot of good shit. Anyway, he made a movie called Zebra Man about a guy who was obsessed with comic books who ended up dressing like a zebra and became a vigilante, and I fucking loved it. And I wish this game was about it, but it's not. It's something else. It has the same name. I just wanted to mention that really cool Takashi Miike Zebra Man movie. If you can find it, watch it. There's actually a sequel. I never saw Zebra Man 2, but I loved Zebra Man 1. I thought it was really good. I used to play it at the bar that I worked at. But no, I was, for a few years I went on a major Takashi Miike kick. And he's still making movies. Like, I forget, we were watching something that, it was Tokyo Vice. Jess and I were watching Tokyo Vice, which is a really, really good show that's on HBO Max. It's like 2 seasons. Like I said, if you like Yakuza, if you like the Japanese mafia and all that, you should watch this show. It's a true story about an American journalist who moved to Japan to work for a Japanese newspaper and got involved in the mafia and all that. It's really good. But we were watching that, and it reminded me of like Takashi Miike movies, and we watched some newer ones, and he's still fucking cranking them out. Like, he's still got some really good ones going. Like, I always thought he's a really unique director because his, like, they're all over the place. Like, he's got
kind of a Gonzo style.
He has a broad, like, you never know. Like, I watched this one Yakuza movie that he made about this, like, supposed to be like the smallest Yakuza. They only have like 3 members, but that one was really good too. Like, I don't know. He had these. It's kind of, or he did what was it? He did a live action remake of a really old anime that was really, really good too. Yatterman, the Yatterman movie, that one was really good. But I've loved everything he's done. So Miike, if you can find it on the internet, it's pretty hard to find actually for streaming. But watch some of it. It's really good. But yeah, I don't even know this Zebra Man movie or this Zebra Man game looks like Hotline Miami. It's on sale for $14.99. It just got me excited because of that old Zebra Man movie, the Miike one. But yeah, that's what we got for the releases this week.
We got an update for Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh yeah, I did. I did mention that last week because I did buy Guilty Gear Strive, and I mentioned that they had DLC coming, and the new character is out now. I haven't played it actually since last week. Queen Dizzy. Yeah, it kept showing her. When you start the game up, it kept talking about her coming to the game, and she's here now. So cool. And I did say it in the opening of the show, so I should mention. Yeah, so there was an Xbox. What's it called? Xbox Indie. So it's kind of like their own like Nintendo, whatever you call it, Nintendo Indie Showcase, World Showcase, whatever. There were some games that were in there. Tron Catalyst coming out June 17th.
These are all games that you think, or that they confirmed are coming for Switch as well?
They're confirmed. They're confirmed for Switch. There's like 2 or 3 of them. Tron Catalyst, I think I put them in the Slack separately before I realized they were on a Xbox thing. Tanuki Pond Summer, that one, I remember seeing that another thing where you get to play as the little, I think you posted it another time as well.
Yeah, I remember that one.
The Tanuki on the bicycle looks really cool. Yeah. That one was on there, but it's been 100% confirmed for Switch. One, Ratatan, that one as well. That one's like a looks like a rhythm type game. Tenpopo and Rock Beast. Oh yeah, Rock Beast is it's kind of like a visual novel, but you get to like put a musical band together, but they're all like different animals. And
that looks cool. And the trailer was narrated by Iggy Pop, so he's involved.
Oh really?
Yep.
I rarely watch anything on my phone with the music up or with the sound up. That's me. I don't like hearing things. I just watch it and just put the subtitles on, and I'll narrate it on my own way. But I
don't know if he just did the trailer or if he's involved in the actual game. That'd be cool if he was.
That would make me more interested if he was. Yeah, if he's in it, or even if he's, I don't know. Even if he just does the voiceover for the game, that makes me.
That one did seem cool. It has a visual style of like BoJack Horseman or something. But then it's a band management sim, so you're not playing in the band, but you're actually managing the band.
It seems like the least fun part, right? Or where you gotta try to get them all like get them all in line. And be like, you have to show up to practice on time. You have to be at this event at this time. It'd be a lot more fun to just be drunk and just play music and have people love you or whatever. But yeah, more other directs that aren't Nintendo ones continue to show stuff. And speaking of things, we're recording early before the Pokemon Presents Direct that's happening tomorrow. But I mean, that's fine. I mean, I know you don't care that much about Pokemon, and
I don't care at all about.
And Jeremy's not here, so hopefully they'll show something from Pokemon Legends, which will end up if that. I mean, I'm excited about that. Pokemon Legends was on both of our Game of the Year lists when that came out, but we can easily talk about that next week. I don't think we need to move the days or whatever. So,
well, the biggest tease that we've got so far is it looks like Tony Hawk 3 and 4 is like a sure deal.
Yeah, they keep showing stuff. I saw like a picture of Tony Hawk sitting in front of the date, like with some skater friends. I mean, I don't know them enough to recognize them, but I figured some of them were on the original like release of Tony Hawk 3 or 4. Maybe Rune Glifberg was there or something. I don't know, but maybe Kareem Campbell or I don't know. But I mean, I've seen that he keeps posting stuff about it. And if you go to like Tony Hawk ProSkaterGames.com or something like that, there's
TonyHawkTheGame.com. It's just
there's a timer,
a date and a countdown. Yeah,
there's a bar that's moving, and the date is Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's this coming Tuesday,
March 4th.
Yeah, it's the 4th because the Oscars are on the 2nd, and so it's the reason I think maybe it's a shadow drop is Tuesday was always a release date for games for games. And there's an announcement on Tuesday, and with all of the stuff about it, it'd be weird to say it's coming out. I'm on the side of thinking that it's just going to drop.
I think it's just going to drop as well. So I think that the original 1 and 2 was a shadow drop, as well, wasn't it?
I honestly don't remember.
I think it was just like boom, here it is.
Yeah, well, I remember it came out. on PS4 and 5 first, and then it was delayed on Switch. But also, don't forget that there's been it's been a rating. It's been rated already in Singapore or something like that. They've already seen it, and it shows Switch. It shows Switch on there as like the systems that it's coming to. Quote unquote.
Remember when Tony Hawk texted you? Wasn't that about number 1 and 2? Didn't he text you and say it's on the Switch? It's on the PS4?
What? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I did get some random Tony Hawk text messages. Let's see if it remembers them.
Yeah, search Tony Hawk in your contacts.
Yeah, I am. But comes up. No, I did. But I mean, there's only like it only saves so many things. Let's see. No, the last thing I got from him was a video of him skateboarding, and that was in 2020.
Typical.
That was in 2022. But I think that Tony Hawk 1 and 2 came out before that, right? Before 2022, I think so. I thought it was pandemic.
I think it sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, regardless, I'm excited. I'm kind of holding money in my head about because if they drop 3 and 4, like a HD version of it on Switch, I'm gonna get it.
I'm getting that 100%. Yeah, I mean, 3 was the best one.
Yeah,
so I have huge nostalgia for that. I would definitely get that.
I had just been playing through 4 on GameCube last year. I was just doing a playthrough again of 4, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. So. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, if they drop it on Tuesday, I'm 100% in. So hopefully that'll be something we talk about next week.
So some other games were announced, and this one's really cool. This is just sort of out of the blue, and I was not a fan of this growing up. I wasn't really aware. I was aware of it, but I just never really watched it. They're doing a game of Samurai Pizza Cats called Samurai Pizza Cats Blast from the Past.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. I knew nothing about this show at all, but this game looks really pretty. It does
look good. Yeah,
the art of it looks great. But I know absolutely nothing about the show.
It was a Tatsunoko show.
Oh well, I should know, right? Well, I mean,
I remember you telling me that. I remember you telling me that the Pizza Cats were in that Tatsunoko versus Capcom game.
Oh, they weren't though. They're not in the game.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it wasn't me that told it to you. But I mean, I did actually explore lots of Tatsunoko stuff. Because of that game, but no, the Pizza Cats weren't.
Or maybe you didn't say that they were in the game, but maybe I think it was you who made that connection for me.
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe
I misremembered.
I've never seen. I've never seen it though. But I like the way the game looks. I'm interested.
And the trailer was really cool too. the trailer, I'm pretty sure, was just clips from the show where they got the original voice cast to re-record some stuff and talk about the game. But I thought that was kind of a cool nod. It looked like an old VHS tape, all worn out and everything.
Oh yeah.
But the style of the game, it looks like they're pretty much trying to emulate the exact look of the show. That's why it looks so good. Like, it looks just like an old episode of the show, but it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Yeah, I'm interested.
It kind of has a little bit of that, like the faded colors too, which I like.
Faded colors, yep.
Like, it definitely
Yep.
has an art design to it, and I'm into that. And I mean, maybe just like the way that some of it looks, it does kind of remind me of Mystical Ninja as well, which I really like those games. So
It looks
that's
authentically
another
like
thing
an
for me.
early 90s anime. I'm into that. I love the whole early 90s anime style. Another
For
one that
sure.
I'm interested in is Shotgun Cop Man, because this is coming from the creator of My Friend Pedro
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Devolver Digital.
Yeah. That's why. I put that on there. Put that on the Slack because I figured you would have feelings about it.
This looks like another. It looks a little bit similar to My Friend Pedro in the way of the action, like the action platformer where you shoot guns stylistically. I thought the premise was kind of funny. You're a cop that's going to hell to arrest Satan.
Sure.
Why not?
I mean, the art design, it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, they look weird. But, I mean, it's like 2D action, so it kind of looks like the same style of Pedro.
Yeah, looks a little simpler than Pedro did visually, but I'm into it because I love My Friend Pedro so much. And that game, I think, is on sale again this week for
Oh,
anyone
yeah,
who's
probably.
interested.
And it's Devolver Digital. Like, they're well known.
They only make good stuff.
And it's launching for $10. It's cheap. It's launching for $9.99, the price you wanted for Amiibo. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, how about another platformer out of the blue, or brawler out of the blue? The Phantom.
Yeah.
That Billy Zane movie.
So I'm excited about this. Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers. Yeah, there was a movie in the 90s. I mean,
Which was based on an old serial from the 30s, 40s, whatever.
It's a comic book, actually. I was going to say, me growing up as a comic book fan, you have to realize, growing up in the 90s and loving comics, we had to, like, hold on to whatever piece of comic book stuff we had, like, as far as, like, movies go.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching The Phantom because, yeah, it was an old comic book. And, and Billy Zane was in it.
Purple tights.
Yeah, and Purple Tights, and there was a Super Nintendo game too. There was a Super Nintendo Phantom game that came out. So this game reminded me of all of that, the original Billy Zane movie and the Super Nintendo game that came from that movie, and then a new version of it, which looks really good too. Like, the animation looks great. So yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I might try it out for the
Coming out
right
soon,
price.
March 12th.
Yeah, March. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, like the week after Tony Hawk. So March is getting a little crowded here, but yeah, sure, I'll try it out. Let's see, what else do we have? Mind's Eye, is that the
Yeah, it's not coming to Switch or anything, but this was on the PlayStation State of Play, and I'm just interested in it because, well, it could come to Switch too. Anything could come to Switch too. We don't know. The reason I'm interested is because it's from IOI, the people who made Hitman. They're not developing it, but they're publishing it, and it's certainly, some elements of it reminded me of Hitman. Like, maybe they allowed them to use some assets from Hitman to make this game. It looks very similar in the third person action game, stylistic and all that. Anything that IOI touches after Hitman, I'm interested immediately. I've got my mind's eye on it.
what was the other one? Oh yeah, Hotel Barcelona. That was the one I mixed it up with. I didn't watch the trailer for it, but there's a new game coming out from Suda51 and Swery.
Yep.
So, I know Suda very well for doing, like, Killer 7, No More Heroes, and Swery did Deadly Premonition,
Yep.
the Deadly Premonition games that were heavily influenced by Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I remember when they announced that they were doing a partnership, and this is the fruit of that partnership.
So I'd be really surprised that is not coming to Switch, because you have to realize that what was it? The guy from Suda51, like, he was on the opening presentation of Switch, like when the Switch was originally announced, and when they did the stage thing where everybody came out and they showed the different games, he was there, and they were showing that one, the No More Heroes game that kind of sucked, the one where he where it was referencing all the different indie games. Travis Strikes Again or whatever it was called. Like, but he was there at the very beginning, like when they first showed the official showing of all the games for Switch. Suda 5-1 was there, and No More Heroes 3 was a Switch exclusive, was like a timed exclusive and all that. So, I mean, I'd be really, and like, wasn't Deadly Premonition 2 like a Switch exclusive too? So like, both of these guys have done Switch exclusive stuff. So I'd be really surprised if it does not show up on Switch 2. Like, it would really blow me away, because they've already, I thought that Nintendo even like produced like the re-release of Deadly Premonition or whatever on Switch. So I mean, they've obviously, they love both these guys, so I'm pretty sure we'll see them on things.
I think so.
Let's see what else do we got here that you want to talk about?
Oh, Tales of the Shire was delayed again until July 29th for that Lord of the Rings game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of interested in that. I mean, it's a cozy Animal Crossing type game. I don't think it ever really got a full release date, or I think it was just supposed to come out last year, and they pushed it, and I don't know, whatever. I mean, we'll see what it is when it happens. I thought my wife might be into it, so I've been keeping an eye on it.
So I'm not into Pokemon, but I know you are. Any plans for Pokemon Day, which it will have happened, by the time this episode airs, but it's tomorrow. It's the 27th.
I told you, it's Legends ZA, or Pokemon Pizza, as Jeremy referred to it as. No, I just want to know what the next Legends game is. Pokemon Legends Arceus was a really good game. It was on both of our Game of the Year lists, and I want to see what that is. And don't forget that I called it, because when they first announced Pokemon ZA, they said simultaneous release is what they said. And we were like, what does that mean? And I said, that means it's going to be on Switch 1 and 2. And now that Switch 2 is a thing that we know of, maybe we'll find out more about that. I don't know. I thought it was really weird that it said simultaneous release, unless they were trying to say global release. But they haven't had anything delayed, as far as I know of, in like however many years. So it wouldn't have been like, oh hey, these are on the same days, because I thought all the Pokemon games came out here in Japan at the same time, and they have, So when it said simultaneous release, I thought it would be like, oh, we got a Switch 1 and 2 version. But I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
so we'll find out in a few hours. I guess it's happening at like 7 a.m. or something like that.
And one more. I'm good after this one.
Sure.
Nintendo has announced a Switch OLED Mario Wonder bundle for Mario Day, which is coming up right around the corner. I completely forgot about it until this article showed up.
Mar 10. Yeah, it's like 2 weeks away from here. Oh, yeah, there's one more. Well, there's one more thing I want to mention after this. But Mar 10, Luigi, whatever. That's the 2D one, right? The Mario U, new
Mario Wonder.
U. Or no, Wonder. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so that's new. Yeah, Mario Wonder OLED bundle.
That's got me thinking. That's cool about this OLED bundle and all, but I think there's absolutely no way that we don't see more of Mario Kart on Mario Day as a precursor to the big announcement on April 2nd. I think absolutely we're going to get on Mario Day more footage of Mario Kart. Maybe not the big full reveal, but they'll take the opportunity to do a nice little lead up to remind folks that, hey, here's a little bit more on Mario Kart and more on Switch 2's coming up soon in just 3 weeks. I think they're going to do that.
I hope so. I mean, the past few years for Mario 10 or Mar 10, whatever, I don't feel like we've gotten a whole lot. Like we maybe got a little bit. We haven't really got like reveals, like maybe some release dates of stuff that was already announced, but I don't know. I didn't feel like we got that much, but I hope that you're right, and that we'll see more stuff for it.
Maybe we didn't get like a whole bunch of releases or whatever, but like last year they actually made an actual Mario Day campaign commercial, which says to me, we're going to keep doing this. And I think it's probably, Nintendo of America putting the pressure on Nintendo of Japan to make this a real thing, because it's like this viral thing that people are going to do anyway, so they might as well take control of it.
It's silly. It's like it reminds me of like May the 4th. I always thought that was stupid that became Star Wars Day. It's like, shouldn't Star Wars Day be the day that Star Wars came out, not this stupid fucking May the 4th bullshit? Because Star Wars came out on my birthday, so let's just keep making that the birthday.
Oh, you're biased.
Because May 19th but that was when Star Wars came out originally. Like May the 4th, that's just some dumb shit that people say. Like, It's not historical. We weren't
You
saying
can have
that.
your own little Star Wars day.
We weren't saying that in the 70s. I'm just saying it's just some dumb thing that's like somebody's like, oh yeah, May the 4th sounds funny. Let's make that a day. It's the same thing with Mar 10. Like
Yeah,
shouldn't like actual
because it showed up on a gallon of milk one day.
yeah yeah.
Here we go.
It's like shouldn't like the actual Mario Day like be when Mario like first appeared or whatever. Like not like I don't know. People are having fun. It's like I forgot to mention on our X Pack, but like like. Now February 24th is like Twin Peaks Day because that's when that's when Agent Cooper like landed in Twin Peaks when he's talking to Diane on his voice recorder. He's like, it's February 24th and I'm entering Twin Peaks, and now that's Twin Peaks Day. Well, I'm fine with that because I love that show. If that'll get more people to watch it, and it's on every single streaming service there is now, so you have no excuse. Watch it, damn it! It's really good.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, Mar 10, yeah, hopefully some more stuff happens for that. But there's one thing I wanted to mention before we're done here. I saw this the other night. Was it Saturday night? I was like halfway through the shoot I was working on. I needed a minute. I need to have a drink, and I was just poking through Facebook, and I saw friend of the show, person we've interviewed for the show before, Doc Mack, posted on Galloping Ghost, the Evil Dead pinball machine. Holy shit. I need to play this thing. Like Evil Dead 2.
Looks cool.
Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I showed Jess the trailer and all that, and there's some really fucking cool shit in there. And we're bringing in stuff from Evil Dead 1 and 2. There's like the heads coming up of like your possessed sister and your girlfriend and all that, and you got the head on the top that moves, like pushing the cellar door up and down and all that. And there's like a shotgun, like they got a double barrel shotgun where the two balls go in there and you can shoot it. Like hell yeah, I want to play. Oh, and there's an underground thing under the, how we were talking about the old like haunted house pinball machines. It kind of has that where you go under.
Got a whole sub table underneath. Yep.
Well, yeah, because that was a big part of Evil Dead 1 and 2 was like the basement where the where the witch is, where he's like, I'm gonna go downstairs and carve me a witch. That's that sort of thing. And yeah, you got a little flipper down there, and there's the picture of like her aunt or whatever that's possessed by the Necronomicon down there. Yeah, I'm so excited to play that game. It's at Galloping Ghost, and I really want to fucking try it out because, like I said, Evil Dead 2, one of my favorite movies ever of all time. And I watched the trailer, and it was like Bruce Campbell like doing like new narration mixed with like lines from the movie, and I thought it was done really well. And yeah, like there's a part where you can like fight like his girlfriend's head, from Evil Dead 2, when you're like trying to chainsaw her, but she's flipping from like the Deadite to like the regular person, and I'm so pumped. I just it just needs to just spray blood on you. But yeah, there's stuff with the possessed hand too, and the cabin, like
there's a lot of there to take from Evil Dead. There's certain properties that are like ideal for pinball, and ideal. Evil Dead is one of them. Yep. I'm wondering how do they showcase the iconic what do they call it, the ghost cam or whatever that zooms through the forest? Like how does that translate into a pinball machine? I know they did it somehow.
Well, I would guess that they would probably show it on the little screen on top. Like maybe when you hit the ball the first time, it would do that, like do like a quick like go through there. But oh my god, yeah. And they have the projector too, because there's like the part where he's in the room and the projector is like playing on him. There's like the reel-to-reel projector like on the bottom too. Like I don't know. I thought they did an excellent job, like just capturing like one of my favorite movies. Oh yeah, and there's a hand. There's a hand in there that can grab your ball. It looks so fucking cool. Like I'm so excited about playing this game. I haven't been this excited about a pinball game in a while. Like maybe since the Godzilla one, maybe. The Ghostbusters one was really good. I like that one. I don't know, but Evil Dead 2 is like, this is a movie I've seen a million times. I could quote it from beginning to end. And it's I've got, speaking of toys, I got a good amount of Evil Dead toys, and I have a 10-inch talking Ash figure, which you've seen. I brought it to Columbia when we first met. Took it with me, but I bought that thing for like $10. I think it's worth more now. I bought it from a comic store, but yeah. Love those movies so much. I have an Evil Dead 2 poster hanging in our kitchen, and I'm very excited to play that pinball game because it looks awesome. And I saw a video of Doc Mack talking about it, and I was like, holy shit! And that's what inspired me to post our arcade ambience track that I did I posted on Facebook also and tagged Galloping Ghosts for that. I want them to know, because I talked to them about recording in there, and I want them to know about it. And I'm just, trying to just post it with different things to just try to get the word around. And
Sure.
people seem to be watching it, and it's got, I don't know, it's got like 70 views or something. But check it out. I put it on the description of last week's episode, the Galloping Ghost ambience.
Yeah, if you want some arcade ambience, come to NintenDomain. Yep.
Yeah, go to the YouTube. You can listen to it on there. And if enough people watch it, I'll put out a hour version of it. So get that up to like 200 views or something like that, or 300. I don't know. But that pinball game, and there's pinball room tone as well in there. So if you like to hear the like the balls bumping around, check it out.
Nice.
But that's good. Yeah, that's good for episode 360. No, 460. This 460 of NintenDomain. Thanks everybody for listening. And if you like hearing us or you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. And for $1, you can hear our bonus shows. But for $5, you can see the videos of us early, and you can hear WART Radio, which is basically a playlist of all the music that I put for the intro and outros for all of these episodes. So if you like that music and you want to listen to it, just go there and give us $5 and check it out. I mean, that's cheap. That's like $1 an episode, honestly, for the whole month. So if you're enjoying this on the free feed, throw us a couple bones. It's help John get some extra Amiibo here. How we could play.
Please.
They pay for like maybe
child
for one.
Who has no Amiibo.
Yeah.
For only 25 cents a day.
Exactly. Yes. help us get more Amiibo. We don't have enough. Go check that out there. And if you want to hear all the the Galloping Coast, the room tone stuff I recorded there, youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. Go there and follow us on Blue Sky, NintenDomain. I'm Trey Johnson on there. Jeremy's Jared Domain. He's not here, but get on Blue Sky and be like, hey, why the fuck were you not on this episode? Just give him so much shit for being in New York and not being here. And then he'll be happy to be back or something like that.
And come back next week because he's going to tell us about his trip to the Nintendo store.
Exactly, yeah. Hopefully he gets a whole bunch of, hopefully he buys Alarmos for all of us. That'll be expensive. And they probably won't be there anyway. But you can check all that stuff out. And we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson. And
John Itter.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.